of nothing but a Biden donor prejudice judge. He also spared with no defense for, by the way.
That was Fox News host Sean Hannity having a little glitch out. Listen, we're all human. It happens, but there's a reason that we're going to do a little mocking of Hannity, then get into a topic that I've wanted to talk about for some time. So here's this moment again from Sean Hannity.
Of nothing but a Biden donor prejudice judge. He also spared with no defense for, by the way.
Again, everyone has glitches, so that the point I'm about to make actually doesn't make any sense. But I would like to think that the universe just makes it really difficult for you to speak when you're being as dishonest as he's being there, as he's trying to spit out that talking point about the judge one more time.
Of nothing but a Biden donor prejudice judge. He also spared with no defense for, by the way.
And that gets us to what we're going to be talking about. Asen responded to this and was the one who brought the clip to my attention and wrote, "Wonder if Hannity will demand Hannity take a cognitive test." And I want to get into that. Before we do it, though, let me remind you of some other Hannity doozies. I did a segment some time ago, so I'm going to lean on past me for the sake of ease into this segment, where I went through and showed moments of Hannity using the wrong names for people because he had done all this coverage of how Biden is falling apart because Biden misnamed or misstated the name of someone. So here's a reminder, a little flashback to that segment. Then we'll jump into the substance of this segment.
Better. Mr. Speaker, thank you for being with us. Here now with more reaction, former counselor to the president, Kellyanne Trump, along with former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, Fox News contributor, former White House press secretary.
Kellyanne Trump. I love her face while she's listening to that. She goes, "Yeah, oh, all right, well, I guess I'm Kellyanne Trump." And the next one here.
Anyway, joining us now, we are joined by Congressman Matt Gaetz from the great state of Florida, the host of the Rubin Report, Dave Rubin. Oh, I'm sorry, Jason Chaffetz is now with us. I thought it was Matt Gaetz.
So again, I'm not saying that this is indicative of a problem, and his reasoning, as I'll play for you in a second, is perfectly fine as to why he called Jason Chaffetz Matt Gaetz. But it happens. It just does. Here's his reasoning.
All right. I'm not throwing anyone on my team down the stairs here, but it's called a teleprompter error. They put the wrong name in the teleprompter.
Yeah. All right. Then I don't know if you can blame the teleprompter for this one. And this may be my favorite. It's the most, I'm American and I can say these names however I want. And he takes a shot at pronouncing Angela Merkel. It doesn't go well.
Of Germany, when it was Angela Merkel, I just don't know how many of these moments he can keep having when people stay in denial. And
so Angela Merkel, Angela Merkel. Now I think he was thinking of Meghan Markle with that last name maybe, and then just Angela instead of Angela. One more time on that one.
Of Germany, when it was Angela Merkel.
Angela Merkel from whatever that country is. Then he says that the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, is Governor Paxton.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Anyway, we really appreciate your time. Thank you, Governor Paxton and Governor Noem. Thank you. While
y'all set this situation up for yourself. Now you can't make mistakes because we're going to say, It's just too easy, you know, when y'all obsess over these small little moments on the part of Joe Biden. And then here's one more from Hannity, then we'll move on to Donald Trump.
Anyway, here with more with the very latest House Oversight Committee Chairman, James Comer is with us. Good to see you, Senator. So can you explain?
So, of course, James Comer is not a senator. So as I've said in the past, whenever you make it a huge point of your show to constantly go after Biden for every little gaffe and every little name mix up, then you got to be really careful, double careful. Make a script and check it twice and practice it twice to make sure you don't make those sorts of mistakes, because then it's such an easy response. As what was going on at the time people were doing was just responding to Hannity clips of him criticizing Biden with those sorts of clips to make the point that I was making in that segment. But the reason why this is relevant again now is Trump, and so then MAGA media has followed him, has been saying that Biden should take a drug test before the upcoming debates. And that is Trump scared. That is just true. He's just a little scared man that he's going to get trounced by Biden in the debate, as happened in the 2020 debate. And then he's going to need an excuse for why that happened. And his excuse he's prepping is he was on drugs. Take a look.
No, I have fake Tapper. They said, I just want to debate this guy, but and I'm gonna demand a drug test too. By the way, I am. No, I really am. I don't want him coming in like the State of the Union. He was high as a kite. I said, "Is that Joe up there? A beautiful robe?" And by the end of the evening, he's like, "Well, he was exhausted, right?" Now, we're going to demand a drug test, but...
Yeah, so that's what prompted this. And now you have Republicans across the media and people like Sean Hannity saying there should be a drug test and saying this is something that's very important for the legitimacy of this debate. Now, I said this before, especially after the State of the Union, but if you have to keep saying that in all these big speeches that Biden will give, and whenever he shows up to debates, he's always overperforming this caricature that you've depicted of him in the media. And maybe it's not so much drugs and just you've been inaccurately assessing him. Yes, he's low energy in certain interviews. Yes, he has gaffes. But when it's time to show up and a lot of Americans are going to be watching a particular event, he often shows up much more energized, understanding the importance of it. And so maybe that's the takeaway, not that he's found some miracle drug that makes him super sharp for these important moments. And I mentioned the State of the Union. Here was Hannity, since we brought up him at the beginning, saying that Biden was on something or jacked up in some way at the State of the Union.
Tonight, America saw, let's say, a very different Joe Biden. I might call him Jacked Up Joe, and that's being charitable.
And then more recently, you have Ronnie Jackson, who apparently, according to Trump, is just absolutely obsessed with Trump's body, if you can imagine that, saying this about Biden.
Well, I think normally we would never suggest something like that, but I think we live in a different world now. I think President Trump's saying what everybody else in this country is thinking right now. What is going on with this man? What is he on?
So again, we have absolutely no evidence of what they're saying. And the fact that I've now heard this so many times, and it just seems to be a tired talking point, I think, weakens it. And to me, again, emphasizes MAGA's scared. Chicken, that's what we need to start saying. You're scared to debate Biden. You can't just debate him. You have to now add these different caveats. Because remember, Trump was going out publicly and saying, anytime, anywhere, Biden's rules, I don't care, show up here and I can do it and I can crush him no matter what. And then Biden goes, all right, let's do it. And Trump now has some extra cap. Now he wants to add some rules. No longer is it anytime, any place, any rules. It's, I want drug tests. And I think even legitimizing that would be ridiculous on the part of President Joe Biden. But if Trump is so confident, then just show up. Stop with all of this prepping of an excuse as to why you might underperform compared to Biden, and just show up and beat him if you are so confident. But this does play into what we talked about in a past segment a little bit. You have this sort of obsession with Republicans with aesthetic, and that's why Trump appeals to a lot of them, because he beats his chest as this strong guy and cares a lot about appearing as an, to use their language, alpha male. But his record, the things that matter, doesn't reveal someone who's good at the job of being president. And that's what we should care about. Okay, Biden's an old guy. We get it. But what has this old guy been doing? Has he been governing effective? That's the energy. That's the efficacy that I care about. It's nice. It's fun whenever you have a president who can also deliver super compelling speeches every time and also is super energized. But let's look at the track record of the two. And that's what matters the most. And in this segment, I don't have to go through that whole breakdown again, because it's something I've done so many times probably in this show for our podcast listeners, but it's stunning. Biden's ability to govern, to manage world crises, to be effective, and to be an adult in the room versus Trump and the disaster that he was and is. And so, yeah, if all you care about is aesthetics, I don't know why you would be attracted to the aesthetic of the angry orange man. But if that appears strong to you for some reason, this super vain man who lathers himself in makeup every morning, then I would just encourage you to also prioritize policy records and the governance of the two and see how that hits your mind. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments. Do you find the orange makeup to be something that denotes power when Trump is speaking, or do you care a little bit more about the governance?